How's it going, comic book fans? Welcome back to Comic Drops. Today we're diving deep into Feral issue number 6, titled Patchwork. If you guessed this issue was going to be all about Patch, then you guessed correctly. Tony Fleece, Trish Forstner, and the rest of the creative team have delivered another gut-wrenching, visually stunning, and somewhat experimental issue that focuses entirely on Patch and his struggle after being infected. Without a doubt, this is my favorite issue of Feral so far, from a narrative perspective because of its singular focus on Patch and the burden he has to bear. According to the website Capes and Tights, with Feral's blend of horror and heartwarming moments, this comic will appeal to fans of all genres. This quote is certainly true for me, and let's see if it holds up as we unravel the tragedy and emotional weight behind issue number 6. So what is the fate of Elsie and Gigi after the harrowing events of the last issue? Where's Lord? And what actually happened to Patch after his fight with Jonas? Stay tuned to find out. Issue number 6 opens with a powerful flashback. We're taken back to an important moment from the first issue, when Patch defended Elsie from a rabid raccoon by the creek. This scene immediately reminds readers of the bond Patch once shared with Elsie, and how far things have fallen since. From here, the story cuts to the present, where an infected Patch looks at his reflection in a stream. Snow has blanketed the landscape, signaling that winter has come, both literally and metaphorically, as it mirrors the cold isolation Patch feels within himself. Visually, this moment is haunting. Trish Forstner's artwork shows Patch staring into the water, his blood dripping and distorting his reflection. His eyes are bloodshot, and the foam around his mouth hints at the infection taking hold. The ripples in the water mirror Patch's distorted sense of self. His identity is slipping away, twisted by the infection. This visual representation of his inner turmoil is powerful. What was once Patch, the brave defender, is slowly being replaced by something far darker. We also get our first glimpse into Patch's fragmented thoughts, which race through his mind in a chaotic, disjointed manner. He's thirsty, hungry, cold, and exhausted, yet his singular focus remains to find Elsie and Lord. But the infection is clearly affecting him. His internal dialogue is incomplete, reflecting his confusion and deteriorating mental state. Tony Fleece does a masterful job here of using Patch's broken thoughts to convey his desperation and his inner battle. He tries to chase a rabbit but ends up coughing uncontrollably, a heartbreaking reminder of how much the infection has physically weakened him. Simpson's coloring here is subtle but impactful. Red is used again to signify danger, but in these early scenes, it's mixed in with the cold blues and whites of the snowy landscape, creating a haunting contrast. The world around Patch is quiet and serene, but his inner world is anything but. As Patch continues his journey, we see him catch a glimpse of Elsie running through the trees. This is where the emotional weight of the issue really hits. Patch is overjoyed to see her, but as he approaches, we see a different side of Elsie emerge. She's cold, cruel even, berating Patch for his failures. She accuses him of being a coward for not protecting her and Lord when they were taken by animal control. A bombshell revelation, confirming that the cats were indeed surrendered to them. Forstner's artwork excels in this scene. Patch's internal dialogue as he tries to make sense of Elsie's anger is devastating. He feels hurt, confused, desperate for forgiveness, but Elsie's words are cutting, emotionally breaking him down even further. This scene shows us what Patch fears most, that he's failed the ones he loves, and that there's no redemption for him at all. The tension builds as Elsie's accusations become more severe. She calls Patch a coward, claiming that he never defended their family. Patch pleads with her, heartbroken by her rejection. But then, the truth is revealed. This isn't Elsie, only a fever dream hallucination brought about by his infection. The animal he thinks is Elsie is actually an infected dog named Bub. Patch's infection has caused him to become disillusioned, mistaking this rabid dog for the one cat he's been searching for this entire issue. The shift in tone here is jarring, and Simpson's use of color once again heightens the moment. The scene is bathed in reds as the dog attacks, a visual cue that reinforces the danger and intensity of the moment. The battle between Patch and this dog is brutal. Patch manages to defend himself, slashing the dog's face with his claws. But there's no sense of victory here. The dog manages to push Patch over, and while he is defending himself, the rabid dog ends up biting him multiple times. And as the fight comes to a close, Forstner's art captures Patch's exhaustion and sadness. He's defending himself, but there's no triumph in it, just survival. The whole page is drenched in red, reflecting not only the violence, but also Patch's infected worldview. The sky too is also red, signifying that the world around him is now perceived as hostile and dangerous. Once the dog is defeated, Patch doesn't linger. He walks away from the bloody scene, his thoughts still focused on finding Elsie and Lord. But there's a darker undertone to his thoughts now. His infection is worsening, and he's losing his grip on reality. The red hues in the sky and landscape follow him, visually showing how the infection is taking over his mind. Fleece keeps the narrative grounded in Patch's inner thoughts throughout this time, giving us an intimate look at his mental state. Patch keeps repeating to himself that he just needs to get back to Elsie and Lord, but his thoughts are becoming more fragmented. The infection is clearly winning, and it's heart-wrenching to watch his mental clarity slip away. Then we get a flashback to a happier time. Patch is shown as a kitten, sitting in a box with a free sign attached. A little girl picks him up and notices how his face looks like he's wearing a patch, which is how he got his name. This flashback is rendered in warmer, more inviting colors by Simpson, emphasizing the safety and warmth Patch once knew. After bringing Patch home, we see Elsie hiss at him initially out of jealousy, but by the end of the flashback, we see all three cats, Patch, Elsie, and Lord, snuggled up together in a bed, an ideal picture of comfort and the family Patch once knew. This flashback is crucial, not just for showing us where Patch came from, but to remind us of what he's lost. And then we return to the present, and Patch is even more desperate. The comic closes with Patch stumbling upon Elsie, Gigi, and the three kittens outside the barn from the previous issue. But something's off. Patch's internal dialogue shifts from wanting to find them to a more menacing tone. Have to get them. The art team does an incredible job with this final scene, and Patch is bathed in red, signaling that he's a danger to Elsie, Gigi, and the kittens, while the other cats are colored normally, creating a striking visual contrast. And the reader is left on the edge. Will Patch hurt the ones he loves, or is there still a part of him that can be saved? It's an ambiguous and unsettling conclusion, leaving us anxious for what's to come. This issue of Feral delivers an emotionally charged and visually striking masterpiece of a comic book. Focusing entirely on Patch, we see the heartbreaking effects of the infection on his body and his mind. Tony Fleece gives us an intimate character study of a cat losing his grip on reality, while Trish Forstner, Tone Rodriguez, and Brad Simpson craft a visually stunning yet deeply tragic world. The use of red throughout this issue, the haunting imagery of Patch's distorted reflection, and the jarring contrast between the serene, snowy landscape and the violent events happening within it all create an unforgettable experience. With its blend of horror and heartwarming moments, this comic will appeal to fans of all genres. With Feral issue number 6, we see that balance of gut-wrenching horror and moments of heart perfectly executed. The emotional weight of Patch's journey is crushing, but there's still a sliver of hope in his desire to reunite with Elsie and Lord. However, Whether that hope will be realized or destroyed remains to be seen. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Feral issue number 6, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below to let me know your thoughts on Patch's journey and what you think will happen in the next issue. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon with a review of Feral issue number 7 after it releases on October 30th.